And today it is our pleasure to reconnect with a band that we have been following since their very start, almost 20 years ago, I think.
It is 20 years ago. That's the 21 years ago, strictly, I think. But the tour's to mark the 20th anniversary.
20th anniversary tour of CSS, Cansei de Ser Sexy, are back. They are playing Barcelona. They are in Paris right now, and we have the pleasure to join one of its members, Luiza Sá. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, muito bien. It's cool because the first time you played Barcelona was at PRIMAVERA Club, our winter event. Yes. And it was right below where our office is, like the little convention center. They only did it 1 year there. And I remember interviewing Love Fox and
someone else,
and two of the members that are no longer with you, but it was great, and the show was amazing, and it was very exciting. How does it feel to be touring all these years after and celebrating a 20-year career?
It feels great. It's kind of surprising a little bit, the people who come and what the vibe is going to be. Some cities, it's actually quite a younger people, and I don't know how they discover us or what happened. And then other places, it's just like people our age or older, like people who kind of grew up on our music. It's great. I think that for us, we're such close friends that playing the shows is almost as fun as being together, because now that we're older and we all have like whole lives and kind of careers, it's very hard to just have time to be with your friends for weeks traveling. So it's sort of a whole package of emotions, and we're like 40 plus, so it's like we're older, but it's still a party.
I read an interview recently that I think it was Love Fox. She said that CSS always had the stance of not taking itself seriously. And I wonder how important was that and is that to you as a band?
I think that's probably one of the biggest pillars for us. Like, of course, we want to make music that we find good, and like we want to have, we want to do a good job and like give you a good show, but it's very connected to humor. It's very connected to having a good time. And somewhat not being like super self-serious about most things. So that, I think, is just the essence of the band. I think we're here kind of to make people have fun.
Yeah.
Well, was that ever difficult, when you were sort of on a major label and kind of doing global tours? Was it kind of, how easy was it to keep that kind of lightness of feel?
I mean, we went through a lot of things. We had like a manager who stole our money. Like, we had all this drama in the background, but I think somehow we thrive also in bad situations. Like, we were just remembering yesterday, we had this show. We played Japan and then like a festival, and then we played a festival in Korea. But instead of shipping all of our gear to Korea, the gear got shipped to the UK. So we got out there in the festival, we had no gear, nothing, like no guitars, nothing. And we had this big show to play, and one could just be like, oh, we have to cancel. But instead, we got our roadies and people to get leftover instruments from other bands that had nothing to do with our instruments. So it's like, a flying V, camouflage flying V guitar with 7 strings, or like a gigantic keyboard of 88 weighted keys when we played like a microchord. And we played the show, and it was just so funny because we're like, with guitars that have nothing to do with us, just the instruments, and we had a great time. So I think even in the most difficult, this is kind of a funny one, it's not like the most difficult, but even in days where things are difficult, we always manage to like have fun and bring that energy even to ourselves. So yeah, I do think it's very important. It's almost like the most important thing, it's survival.
Now, even though your official comeback was about 2019, last year you played Primavera Sound in Sao Paulo. Was that a very important show in the career of CSS? And why?
Yeah, I think, this reunion tour sort of just started there. Like that was because that was a show we did. Like that was the whole rehearsing, putting it all together was sort of like the beginning that then became this tour, and it's playing home, and your parents are there, like everyone and a new generation, also a huge new generation of people that really understood us. Yeah, it was amazing. It was one of our best shows ever, for sure.
Because I even remember the first time I interviewed the band, as I said, here in Barcelona, I remember they would tell me that when you started having a lot of international recognition, that there was locally back in Brazil, there was a bit of a pettiness in internet comments. People were like trashing CSS a little bit because you were becoming popular and cool, and you were already cool, but like loved all over the world. And I remember they were saying, yeah, locally, like we're getting a lot of shit and stuff. And all of a sudden, like you play at Sao Paulo's Primavera, and it was like one of them, from what I hear, it was like such a crowning moment.
Yes, it's true. But I do think it's also connected to a new generation of people who really get what we're about. They get our humor. They don't, a lot of, in the beginning in Brazil, especially like music critics and stuff, they would say that we were ugly. Like, not only that we couldn't play and that it was bad, this band is bad, it sucks, blah, blah. That's why we wrote CSS Sucks also. But that we were like things like that. So it was kind of a different time. And I think, I don't know, there was a lot of this kind of pettiness, even though there was also another side and other kind of people. But now it's like those conversations don't even happen. I don't know. It's just a different time. So yes, it was a very nice shift in the culture. And I think it's more about to do with like less white men guarding everything and having like more queer people, more women, that already made everything different.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, because CSS seemed to me in many ways like a very modern band. Because like, I remember I was living in London when you first kind of came out, and honestly, I knew like classic Brazilian music, but I didn't know many bands from Brazil, and it felt like you'd kind of, now people are a lot more open. Certainly, British people a lot more open to kind of bands from lots of different places, and I think you played like a really big part of that. And also, you felt kind of like very internet in a way, like it was kind of like the internet opening up and it's like, oh right, here's a band from Brazil, Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I sometimes wonder if we came out now, like what would that be like, with TikTok or whatever, I don't know. Because we were connected to all that new kind of culture. I have to say the UK was really good to us, the very like welcoming, but definitely our first record in Brazil, we sold with this extra CD, like you could burn the CD and give it to a friend with like a blank CD. So we were kind of like for the internet too, like, but now I feel a little old, but it's okay. Like, I feel like if we were out now, I think maybe we would have more. I don't know if we were not on step with time or, how much we were ahead. Maybe we could have been bigger.
Well, I was just very quickly, while you mentioned that, sort of looking to see if you have a TikTok account.
No.
Well, I was going to say, I've come across, there's a CSS one, and I've got no idea there's some sort of development
I think Love Fox does.
Okay.
But I don't think she really takes care of it. And it's so funny because during the tour we have to promote and we have to post, and it's sort of like we keep being like, can you post? And we don't post anything. It's very hard for us to keep posting. It's annoying. And I don't know. It's just like, we don't have that energy, but maybe if we were young, we would be more.
Well, that's the thing. When you're a successful professional band and you reach, the 40s, all of a sudden you have to prioritize things. There's not the energy to be in everything and everywhere all at once. No, like when you're in your 20s. How do you keep your sanity on tour now? as adults who still have to go out and make sure people have fun every night. That's the job.
I think we learned how to tour a long time ago. I mean, our first year, which started on the summer, so it was already half the year, our agents gave us a plaque of like hardest working men. So in that first year, I think we played a show like every day, and then maybe not for like Christmas. And we were like a 24-hour band. So I think we had our 10,000 hours or whatever. We know what works. We know how to gauge, like how to eat, what to drink, like how to party, how to not, and sort of how to focus the energy. And we sort of take care of each other. So for us, I mean, we are a little bit older and it is a little bit different, but not too much. We're not like so unhealthy or so old, but.
Well, I was going to say, think about TikTok. I'm not saying you should be on TikTok because I'm not, so that'd be very hypocritical. But what I was thinking is, I think you would work quite well because you always had like a very strong look, a strong aesthetic, right?
Yeah, I think we could, but I guess TikTok's a lot of videos. That sounds like a lot of work. then you have to be that person, all the time. And this is like a fun reunion. It's not, we don't intend to keep doing this all the time. So in a way, it's like, let's just all celebrate right now because really, I don't know when we're going to play again.
But speaking of playing, there's no actual new music. Like you're not promoting an album. This is a tour, like celebrating the past. And it's also, I think it's a great year for nostalgia. Like it's not something. Sometimes bands are like, oh, I don't want to be nostalgic, but nostalgia is nice, and especially to connect.
You like nostalgia, yeah?
Yeah, I'm very nostalgic. Okay. No, and I was watching like Glastonbury over the week, the shows that you could see on YouTube, and the bands that I was liking the most were the nostalgia ones, like. Even Kasabian, which I never cared about.
Johan.
I know, I never cared about Kasabian, but all of a sudden it's like, oh look,
you criticize me.
I know, but they looked good. There's no longer the bad guy in the band. Or Avril Lavigne. All of a sudden I was like looking at an Avril Lavigne, and it's I was connecting with it, and it's like, I guess this is nostalgia.
No, but CSS sound box fresh today.
I know, box fresh, but
that's nice.
But speaking of is playing these all your classic songs and everything, is this feeding any kind of desire to record new music in the future as a band?
I mean, I wouldn't say never, but I just honestly mean it as a logistical thing. Like we have very full lives, and it sort of doesn't, we'd have to organize that. I don't know. We might release things in the future, but it's not like, I don't want to promise anything because I think most likely, we do have some demos that we never did anything with it because it was pandemic and we didn't know how to feel about anything. But I can't tell you. It's not clear to me, and I think most likely we'll have to get back into our lives, and like I have a kid now, and like Love has a whole painting career, and like we're like coming home with like things to do immediately.
Yeah, especially once there's kids. I know it must be hard to be on tour. Also, CSS was also an important band for the LGBTQ community. There was just something very, very wonderful about CSS. How important as artists did you feel, as Brazilian artists, did you feel when all of a sudden your country elects a notorious homophobe like Bolsonaro as its president back then? Did you feel that in some way you had to step up to make sure that there was a balance and that the hate would be drowned out with love?
Yeah, I mean we did a show in Brazil before the Primavera, and we had a lot of messages. We still do, but our video like had a lot of messages to him, like to the people, and I think it was a big moment of release to all be together. And Brazil is very contradictory because at the same time we have like the most important trans politician, Erika Hilton, who's like a congresswoman. So and now Lula's back, so it's kind of both, and And I feel the same. Like I live in America, and with Trump, and I'm sure all of Europe is like having this. We're all in this together right now, and I want to think that it's because the powers that be are losing, and we're winning, and they just can't let go. So it's kind of the last hurrah, maybe. But yeah, it's important. It's very important. I mean, this is my life. Like, I'm married to a woman, and I'm a mom, and that's a very political thing in itself, even if I don't want it to be. So we do carry some flags, but like I said, we're also having fun and like dancing and being happy, because one thing doesn't block the other.
I was wondering what you were most proud of achieving in all these years of CSS.
As a band?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's this feeling that we all share. Like the celebration and I think our shows are so, like, the records are good, but I think the shows are really the energy of the band are. And I'm very proud of that. It's something that is bigger than all of us. Of course, Love Fox is like an amazing front person. She will, have the audience. But yeah, I think I'm most proud of. I come to the show always. I'm always proud of the show. Very proud.
Yeah. One of the cool things of like stepping back from music or whatever and then coming back into it is when you start running into old friends, and backstages and festivals. Who have you been very excited to see again after a long time?
We just met the Breeders in Bristol, which we met them before, like, because we used to cover one of their bands, and one of their songs, and I don't know exactly how we met, but then they like came to talk to us, and then they did All Tomorrow's Parties. They were curating, and like they invited us to play. So then we sort of had this like small relationship, and we just played a festival that they were headlining, and it was so sweet because we were like, let's not bother them, but then they kind of came in contact with us and like gave us they were so sweet, and they're such an influence for us. Like huge. We were like, this is like probably top 5 band for everyone in the band. So we saw them soundcheck. We were just like, oh my God, this is the best. But yeah, that was a very special moment. That happened like, I guess, 2 or 3 days ago. I'm kind of lost. Yeah.
I have a slightly stupid question. I know you've got to go, but it's been bugging me. It's one of those Wikipedia things, and you might be like, what the hell is? Maybe you know this, where this is going. But sorry, I have to ask. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, your hairstyle is known as the Joanna in the 80s.
No.
And so, what the hell is
so
that?
There was a fan in Brazil. He's actually our friend. He like became friendly. I haven't seen him in like many, many years, and he did all of our Wikipedias. And that was kind of a joke. And I think it's like a singer. I can't even remember what the reference is there, but I never bothered to change it. It's just been there since like the beginning of the band. Kind of think it's a relic. I'm just gonna leave it as is.
I love it. Joanna in the 80s. I don't even
know what it is either, but I do think it's like a singer, I think.
I've been looking hard trying to see the connection in the hair, but it's just not coming.
I'll let you know if I find out. I'll ask around, because at the time I kind of like let it go, and then I never looked at the Wikipedia again. It's been there for 20 years.
And looking, not the 80s, but now everybody on internet is like celebrating indie sleaze, and I guess like CSS was in the heart of it all. The Cobra Snake photos, that aesthetic, the party, the lying on the ground with glitter and beer and all that. Is there anything from the indie sleaze era, or what is known as the indie sleaze era, that is no longer here that you wish would come back? Or
no social media,
no camera phones.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Love was saying something really interesting. She was like, we thought we were such badasses. We're like, oh, like, man, in the floor. But it's like so cute. And it's so like DIY. And there's something really pure and really positive. Like right now, you know, being young now, I don't know. There's just a pandemic, the world's ending, the government's, you know, like global warming. It's kind of different, you know. And I do feel nostalgic for like how pure and like you could be very unfiltered and you wouldn't have to like respond about it, you know. You wouldn't be so curated or so self-conscious. So yeah, I wish that comes back. The like people have so much fun they forget to film it or post it, and it just stays there a little bit, and it's just like weird digital photos of the night.
I know, yeah. Those morning after, no, you're like looking through them. Just you, not you haven't posted them, you know, drunk on Instagram.
Exactly, because you had to put it in the computer into like a thing, a blog. I don't know, like it was just a different relationship, right?
Yeah. You had many steps to go before, you know, and think about things, and it's like, no, maybe this one. Yeah. Now it's totally different. Well, we're looking so forward to seeing you in Barcelona at Razzmatazz.
We are too. We can't wait to eat the food.
Oh yeah.
What is it you most when you're coming to Spain? What is it that you're the flavor that you most want to like try again?
I think immediately we have like the pão tomaca, either with like jambon or whatever. Like I start having sandwiches for just as snacks between meals anyway, and then seafood, all the seafood, and just like the setas, all the stuff.
Yeah.
We love. We're a band that loves to eat and go out to drink and eat. That's all we want to do on tour.
I'm into that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Luiza, for connecting. Sorry for the wait. And
no, that's okay.
On Thursday, Razzmatazz?
Thursday evening, Razzmatazz. I can't believe it. That's going to be so good.
Are you going to be there?
Yes.
All right.
Hopefully front row. I'm tall, so I don't like to be front row.
That's nice. Yeah, I love it.
I always have to think of.
We love beta men, feminist men.
Yeah. No, it's also, you know, the daddy complex. No, it's like, no, children, you at the front.
Enjoy yourselves.
Enjoy yourself.
Learn, children.
Anyway, have a good rest. Have a great gig tonight in Paris. We'll see you in Barcelona.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. See you on Thursday.
Obrigado.
Bye.